Grown terror suspect Christopher Cornell will be back in court tomorrow and facing yet a new charge. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us. A federal grand jury has indicted tri-state terror suspect Christopher Cornell on 3 serious charges that, if convicted, could send him to prison for life.
Cornell was arrested a week ago today after a 5-month federal investigation. Agents say Cornell had cooked up a plan to attack the U.S. Capitol with pipe bombs and 2 rifles that he bought last week in Colerain Township. Local 12's Joe Webb has been on the story since it broke. He joins us with what today's indictment means. Joe.
Well, Paula, Christopher Cornell now faces 3 federal charges: attempted murder of a government official, solicitation to commit a crime of violence, and possession of a firearm to attempt a violent crime. If convicted, the charges carry a penalty of 40 years to life in prison. Now, federal agents were waiting for Cornell when he walked out of Point Blank gun store last Wednesday with 2 M15 semi-automatic rifles and 600 rounds of ammunition. Prosecutors say he had his bags packed for Washington and was headed there to carry out his attack. Now, the arrest was the culmination of a 5-month federal investigation in which a federal confidential informant talked with Cornell several times about his plans for violent jihad and an attack on the U.S. Capitol. Cornell had posted violent videos on his Twitter account and told the informant that he had reached out to Islamic terrorists overseas. Now, the charges don't deal with any direct connection between Cornell and ISIS, ISIL, or Al-Qaeda.
It seems as though the government is going to be pursuing kind of a stripped-down case, not trying to establish any sort of a connection between Cornell and a terrorist organization in terms of Cornell acting under the direction and control of a terrorist organization.
Now, House Speaker John Boehner says a FISA warrant was used to gather information in this case, and Kevin Tierney says that information, which is likely classified, Brad, wouldn't be necessary to prosecute Cornell on the charges in the indictment. The court also gave it into his demand to use his Muslim name, Raheel Marous Ubaida. That now appears on the indictment as well as Christopher Cornell.
That was important to him for religious reasons within his containment?
We don't know exactly why he wanted the name used. We just know that his public defender asked that it be used during his first appearance last Friday in court. At that time, they also asked that he be given a prayer rug and they have a clock in prison, in jail, so that he would know what time it was to pray. So,
and I think we're going to be, as a news organization, we use both names so people will not be confused. Maybe that will confuse it more. I don't know, but you know, it's a tough decision.
On the indictment, it's listed as Christopher Lee Cornell, a.k.a. his Muslim name, and I hesitate to say the Muslim name because I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it correctly, but Raheel Marous Ubaida is he's also known as. That's not uncommon because in the complaint that the affidavit that the FBI agents put together when he was first arrested, they mentioned that he used that name online. So it's not uncommon that they would put that in the indictment, but he specifically asked for it. So,
right. And we're not trying to make a statement one way or the other when we use these names. It's a tough position to be in. I mean, it's not a political statement.
I don't know what the best way to handle that is. I know his parents called him Chris.
His parents were calling him Chris in courtroom. Yeah.
So, and I don't know what his friends called him, though. Haven't talked to any of them.
All right, Joe. Thanks. We'll have more from you later on. Appreciate it. Thanks very much.
Well, Cornell will be arraigned on the charges tomorrow afternoon. His case will be tried in front of Judge Sandra Beckwith, a former Hamilton County Commissioner who was the first female named Chief Judge in Cincinnati's federal court. Judge Beckwith is on senior status. What was another